Falling off the roof. The phenomena of the pattern known as falling off the roof could be described as that if price gets above resistance but fails to hold a new high, it is going down again. And on the image I am showing you where it says sell, that is the point where you have to sell, and where it says target down here, that is the point where you will get your profit. And to make this even easier, I will now show you a little simulation of this with candles. In this simulation, the dotted line is the resistance, and the candlesticks make their way up to the resistance line. But when one candlestick is just below the resistance line, the candles reverse its course and goes down a little. Then the candles test the resistance once again, but fails to go above and goes down again. It tries a third time, and the following candlestick pokes its head above the resistance line, but it doesn't manage to hold above the resistance line and goes down again. When this following candlestick successfully has closed below the resistance line, it is time for you to get into the trade. With other words, it is time to sell. And then you could take your profit where it says target, which is the latest blue. Crack and snap. This is the opposite of falling off the roof, and works like if price gets below support but fails to hold a new low, it is going up again. On the image we are looking at, you buy where it says buy, and you take your profit where it says target up here, which is the latest high price made. And to make your apprehension of this pattern even easier, I am going to show you a simulation much like I did with the falling off the roof pattern. So prepare yourself. This time the dotted line is support. The simulation begins with the candlesticks approaching the support line, but stops right above the support line and goes up a little, and then it tries the support once again, but it doesn't manage to get through, and it goes up a little once again and goes up a little more, but soon it starts to decline again and manages with force to push its head below the support line, but it doesn't have enough power to make a new low, and it goes up again. And this, my friends, is your sign. Buy and take your profit at the latest high, where I conveniently have written target up here. Change of polarity. The pattern known as change of polarity means either that when a resistance is broken, it automatically becomes a support, or that when a support is broken, it automatically becomes resistance. If you are aware of resistance and support lines, the pattern known as change of polarity is quite simple to remember. Just make a note about that if price gets above the resistance, that price level automatically is now a support, or if price gets below support, it automatically turns to a resistance level. Even so, that this pattern might be easy to remember, I will make it even easier by showing a simulation, and this simulation shows a resistance which then turns to a support. The simulation begins with candlesticks moving up to the resistance, but stopping at the resistance line and moves down 2 candlesticks, then it gets up again and gets near resistance, fails to get above and goes down 2 candlesticks, moves up but fails to get above once again, moves down 1 candlestick and then goes up 1 candlestick again, and there it pokes its head above the resistance line, and the following candlestick closes above the resistance line, and the next one also manages to close above. Then it starts to decline a little again, but when it gets to the former resistance line, it stops. It can't get through and it moves up again. The resistance has become support. Head and shoulder. This pattern usually encompasses much price action over a long period of time, and it is composed of one highest high in the middle, and beside it to the left and right lower highs, and the highest high in the middle is called the head, and the lower highs at the sides are called the left shoulder and the right shoulder, and you should sell when the price action on the right shoulder reaches below the dotted neckline. Since this is one of the harder patterns to understand and to explain, I'm going to show you a simulation of it so you understand it fully. This simulation begins with the candles beginning to move up. 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candles, and it stops at 4 candles and reverses, going down 2 candles, then moves up 1 candle, and now you could see that it has made a little high at the top here to the left, and this little top is the left shoulder. It goes up a little again, 2 candles, 3 candles, it goes above the left shoulder, gets up 4 candles, reverses, 2 candles down, 3 candles down, 4 and 1 more, but then it reverses. And now you could see that the green candle just before the red candle starts to move down has made a new high, and this is the head. The candle starts to move up, it is up now 2 candles, but then reverses again, goes down a little more, even further, and there you could see the last formation of this pattern. The right shoulder has emerged, and when this candlestick started to form and got below the dotted neckline, this was your signal to sell. Be aware of that this simulation was just used as an example, and that the number of candlesticks of the head and shoulder pattern doesn't need to match the exact number of candles used in this example. The only thing needed for a head and shoulder pattern is that there is a higher high and to the left and right sides lower highs. Also note that the left and right shoulders doesn't need to match each other in height exactly, and that the neckline isn't always a completely straight line. It should be as straight as possible, but could be bent a little.